We had Janet Yellen reportedly over the weekend telling White House advisors that she supports Powell for a second term. Just how significant is that?
Well, I think Treasury Secretary Yellen's endorsement is important because she knows what is needed to be the chair of the Federal Reserve. And she's very well respected both inside the administration and outside the administration. So I think her endorsement is very, very important. I think also, when you think about it, Chair Powell really is the path of least resistance. He's already shown that he's very capable, and he has support on both sides of the political aisle. If the progressives got their way and they nominated someone that was consistent with what they want, then I think it'd be a lot harder to get that person confirmed, because how many Republican voters would you get?
Tom asked a question earlier today, and given Fed Chair Powell is likely to remain at the helm, what inflation is he looking at most closely? And is it changing in terms of the nature of price increases, where it is occurring, in terms of how they evaluate it at the Fed?
Well, I think they've focused on the notion of, is this transitory or is this going to be more persistent? To have persistent inflation, really two things have to happen. One, you have to run out of labor and have pressure on wages, and that pressure on wages gets into prices. And two, you have to have a rise in inflation expectations. So far, it looks like there's still some slack in the labor market, and inflation expectations, they've risen a little bit, really to levels more consistent with what the Fed wants rather than higher than what the Fed wants. So at this point, the Fed's view is that the inflation pressures that we're having are transitory. Probably they're going to be more persistent than one would like for transitory pressures. In other words, the inflation rate will probably stay above the Fed's target of 2% for a while. But they're really focused on what's happening in the labor market and what's happening to inflation expectations. And as long as those things are okay in terms of their inflation signal, then the Federal Reserve will be pretty comfortable with where inflation is right now.
Dr. Dudley, as did Secretary Yellen, can you tell us this morning that you would actively support the renomination, the reappointment of Chairman Powell?
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's done a terrific job. He has the whole FOMC behind him. I think he's articulated what the Fed's policy is in a very clear and consistent way. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be.